Blackpink members are currently missing.
블랙핑크 멤버는 현재 실종 상태.
Los miembros de Blackpink están actualmente desaparecidos.
ブラックピンクのメンバーは現在行方不明です。
Kasalukuyang nawawala ang mga miyembro ng Blackpink.
In this alternate world where time travel is possible, the famous K-pop group Blackpink gets transported back to Korea's Joseon dynasty in the 1800s. It's a time known for strict rules and a strong sense of tradition. These modern-day idols were shocked as they found themselves in such a different world. They have to deal with the challenges and opportunities that come with being celebrities in a time so far from their own. Blackpink, used to the glitz and glam of today's world, suddenly stands out like sore thumbs in the conservative Joseon era. Dressed in their trendy outfits and carrying gadgets from the future, they attract a lot of attention, and not all of it positive. People are suspicious of these strangers from another time. But amidst the confusion, Blackpink members Lisa, Jinny, Jisoo, and Rose see chances to try new things. They might not have the same freedoms they're used to, but they discover ways to be creative within the limits of Joseon society. It's a journey of self-discovery as they figure out who they are in this strange new world. Dressed in their contemporary clothing, Blackpink stands out like peacocks in the streets of Joseon era. Their vibrant outfits and bold hairstyles draw immediate attention from the locals, who are utterly mystified by their foreign appearance. People stop in their tracks, their eyes widening with curiosity and disbelief at the sight of these modern-day idols amidst the backdrop of 19th century Joseon. It's as if aliens have descended from the heavens, sparking a mixture of awe and apprehension among the onlookers. For Blackpink, the experience is disorienting and surreal. They exchange bewildered glances as they take in their surroundings, trying to make sense of this unexpected turn of events. The language spoken around them is unfamiliar, the architecture and customs are all different. Yet amidst the initial shock, there's a sense of wonder and excitement at the prospect of embarking on this extraordinary journey through time. As Blackpink wandered through the winding streets of Joseon, feeling like lost travelers in a time not their own, they came across a young boy who approached them with a mixture of curiosity and kindness. With a shy smile, the boy extended an invitation for the bewildered pop stars to join him at his humble abode. Filled with relief at the prospect of finding refuge in this unfamiliar land, Blackpink eagerly accepted the boy's invitation and followed him to his small house. Inside, they were greeted by the warm glow of candlelight and the rustic charm of traditional Joseon furnishings. The boy explained that he was living alone temporarily as his parents had journeyed to a distant village to visit relatives. Despite his young age, he seemed remarkably self-sufficient, tending to the household chores with a sense of responsibility beyond his years. As they settled into the cozy confines of the boy's home, Blackpink couldn't help but marvel at the artifacts of Joseon culture that surrounded them. From ornate pottery to delicate silk tapestries, every corner of the house was a testament to a bygone era. But perhaps the most touching gesture of hospitality came when the boy presented Blackpink with a feast of Joseon-era cuisine, prepared with care and served with genuine hospitality. And as they savored the flavors of this ancient cuisine, the boy disappeared into another room, returning with a collection of Joseon-style clothing, offering them a chance to blend in with the locals outside. As the night descended upon the quaint little house in Joseon, Blackpink found themselves ensconced in a world far removed from the glitz and glamour of their usual lives. Clad in the old hanbok clothes graciously provided by their young host, they gathered together in the cozy confines of the small room, the flickering candlelight casting dancing shadows upon the walls. Determined to maintain their spirits and keep the worries at bay, Blackpink decided to share a piece of their world with their newfound friend. With voices as melodious as the nightingales that serenaded the moonlit sky, they began to sing the beautiful songs that had captivated audiences around the globe. Perched atop the lone bed in the room, surrounded by the echoes of their harmonies, they gazed out of the window at the enchanting vista of Joshin outside. The moon cast its gentle glow upon the tranquil landscape, casting a spell of serenity upon the unlikely gathering. Unbeknownst to them, their heartfelt melodies carried through the walls of the humble abode, reaching the ears of the young boy in the adjacent room. At first he listened in disbelief, his heart swelling with joy at the sound of such celestial music. And as the notes danced through the air, weaving tales of love and longing, the boy couldn't help but smile, his soul uplifted by the sheer beauty of their voices. In that moment, amidst the timeless melodies and the gentle embrace of the night, Blackpink and their young companion found solace in the shared language of music. And as they sang into the night, they forged a bond that transcended the barriers of time and space, united by the universal power of song. As the first light of dawn painted the sky in hues of pink and gold, Blackpink awoke from a peaceful slumber, refreshed and ready to embrace the day ahead. Their young companion, eager to show them more of his world, invited them to accompany him to the bustling food market of Joshin. With a sense of curiosity and anticipation, Blackpink ventured into the heart of the market, their eyes widening in astonishment at the sights and sounds that greeted them. Rows upon rows of stalls lined the bustling streets, each one offering an array of goods and delicacies that spoke to the richness of Joshin culture. However, amidst the hustle and bustle of the market, Blackpink soon discovered a startling truth. The concept of coins and paper money was not universally known among the locals. Instead, goods were exchanged through a system of barter, where one's possessions were traded for another's. Determined to blend in with the locals and contribute to the community, Blackpink made the decision to exchange their idle attire for much-needed provisions. Jenny struck a deal with a kindly lady selling meat, vegetables, and rice, exchanging their eye-catching stage outfits for a bounty of essential ingredients. Meanwhile, Rose and the others traded their concert shoes and other accessories for various necessities, their hearts swelling with a sense of camaraderie as they embraced the simplicity of life in Joshin. Yet, even amidst their attempts to assimilate, Blackpink couldn't escape the allure of their own music. As they perused the market stalls, Rosa couldn't resist humming a few bars of their signature songs, the familiar melodies floating through the air like a gentle breeze. To their surprise, the locals stopped in their tracks, their eyes widening in wonder at the enchanting sounds emanating from the lips of these mysterious foreigners. Sensing an opportunity to share their talents and connect with the community, Blackpink agreed to perform atop a long table, their voices ringing out with passion and power. With each note they sang, the crowd gathered around them grew larger, their faces alight with awe and admiration. And as Blackpink delivered electrifying performances of Ice Cream and Shut Down, they watched in amazement as the people of Joshin showered them with gifts of food and provisions, their hearts overflowing with gratitude and joy. In that moment, amidst the bustling energy of the market and the harmonious strains of their music, Blackpink realized that they had found a place in the hearts of the people of Joshin, their voices transcending the barriers of language and culture to unite them in a shared moment of pure joy. With hearts full of gratitude and bellies filled with the bounty of the market, Blackpink made their way back to the cozy confines of the young boy's humble abode. Eager to express their appreciation for the boy's kindness, Blackpink wasted no time in donning aprons and rolling up their sleeves, transforming the kitchen into a bustling hub of activity. Together, they chopped, stirred, and simmered, infusing the air with the tantalizing aroma of their culinary creations. With each dish they prepared, the bond between Blackpink and their young host deepened, forging a connection that transcended the boundaries of time and culture. And as they sat down to enjoy the fruits of their labor, laughter and chatter filled the air, a symphony of friendship and gratitude that echoed through the walls of the small house. As the afternoon sun began its descent towards the horizon, casting a warm glow upon the landscape, the young boy approached Blackpink with a twinkle in his eye. With a mischievous grin, he promised to take them to a place of unparalleled beauty, a hidden gem nestled amidst the verdant hills and tranquil streams of Joshin. Excitement bubbled within Blackpink as they eagerly anticipated the adventure that lay ahead, their hearts filled with a sense of wonder and anticipation. For in the company of their newfound friend, amidst the timeless beauty of Joshin, they knew that their journey was far from over, and that the wonders of this ancient land were theirs to discover. As the afternoon sun dipped low in the sky, casting a golden hue upon the landscape, Blackpink set out on their eagerly anticipated adventure with the young boy as their guide. Through winding paths and verdant forests, they journeyed deeper into the heart of Joshin, their anticipation growing with each step. Finally, they arrived at their destination, a secluded spot nestled amidst the lush foliage, where a crystal-clear river cascaded over smooth rocks, forming a picturesque waterfall that seemed to shimmer in the fading light. Blackpink gasped in awe at the sight before them, mesmerized by the pristine beauty of the place. With a flourish, the young boys spread out a blanket on the grassy bank of the river, inviting Blackpink to take a seat and soak in the splendor of their surroundings. As they settled in, it felt as though they were transported to a scene from a fairy tale, surrounded by the serene beauty of nature in all its glory. But their idyllic moment was soon interrupted by the arrival of several women from the nearby village, each carrying baskets overflowing with soiled garments. With practiced efficiency, they waded into the shallow waters of the river, their hands deftly scrubbing and wringing out the fabric as they worked. Blackpink watched in fascination as the women engaged in the age-old tradition of manual laundry, a process that seemed both labor-intensive and remarkably efficient. Using simple tools such as washboards and wooden paddles, they scrubbed away the stains of daily life, their movements rhythmic and precise. Despite the simplicity of the task, there was a sense of pride and camaraderie among the women as they worked side by side, their laughter and chatter mingling with the soothing sounds of the flowing river. And as Blackpink observed this timeless ritual, they couldn't help but marvel at the resilience and resourcefulness of the people, who found beauty and purpose in even the most mundane of tasks. As the peaceful tranquility of their little haven was shattered by a resounding knock on the door, Blackpink and their young companion exchanged startled glances, their hearts racing with trepidation. With a sense of foreboding, they hesitantly answered the summons, only to be met by a contingent of palace guards, their expressions stern and unwavering. The guards immediately informed Blackpink that they were to accompany them to the palace immediately, summoned by none other than the ruler of the land himself. It seemed that news of their extraordinary presence had spread far and wide, reaching the ears of the ruler, who was eager to unravel the mystery of their origins. With a mixture of apprehension and curiosity, Blackpink followed the guards through the winding streets of Joseon, their minds racing with questions and uncertainties. What awaited them in the hallowed halls of the palace, and how would they explain their presence in this ancient land to a ruler who held their fate in his hands? As they approached the imposing gates of the palace, Blackpink braced themselves for the encounter that lay ahead, their hearts pounding in unison with the rhythm of their footsteps. For in that moment, they realized that their journey in Joseon was about to take an unexpected turn, one that would test their courage, their resilience, and their bonds of friendship in ways they could never have imagined. As Blackpink stepped through the grand gates of the palace, their hearts pounded with a mixture of fear and awe at the grandeur that surrounded them.
We would like to thank my fellow Blinks around the world, as well as everyone watching this video. Please help us create more films about our favorite Korean-related content by hitting the super thanks button below as shown in this video.
Thank you so much, and stay safe wherever you are in the world.
Every detail of the palace spoke of the opulence and majesty of the Joseon era, from the intricate carvings adorning the walls to the ornate tapestries that hung from the ceilings. As they were led through the hallowed halls of the palace, Blackpink couldn't help but marvel at the sheer beauty of their surroundings, their eyes drinking in every detail with wide-eyed wonder. Yet beneath their awe lay a sense of apprehension, for they knew that they stood on the precipice of a moment that would shape their destiny in this ancient land. Finally, they found themselves face to face with the ruler of Joseon and his council of advisors, who regarded them with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. Questions rained down upon Blackpink like a torrential storm, each one probing into the depths of their identity and purpose. With trembling voices, Blackpink attempted to answer the barrage of inquiries, their minds racing to find explanations for the mysteries that surrounded them. But before they could utter a word, a loud and jarring noise pierced the air, emanating from Jisoo's pocket. In an instant, the palace fell into stunned silence as all eyes turned to the source of the disturbance. With a sinking feeling in her stomach, Jisoo checked her smartphone from her pocket, the device emitting a soft glow in the dimly lit chamber. The ruler and his advisors exchanged bewildered glances, their minds struggling to comprehend the sight before them. For in a world untouched by the wonders of modern technology, the concept of a smartphone was utterly foreign and incomprehensible. As the guards confiscated the device and examined it with cautious curiosity, Blackpink realized the gravity of their situation. With no means of communication with their own time and place, they were truly stranded in this ancient land, their fate hanging in the balance. The ruler of Joseon made the decision to detain Blackpink within the confines of the palace for the safety of the village and its inhabitants. And as they were led away to a solitary room, their minds filled with uncertainty and fear, Blackpink knew that their journey in Joseon was far from over, and that the challenges that lay ahead would test their courage and resilience like never before. As midnight settled like a heavy blanket over the palace, Blackpink found themselves jolted awake by the sound of approaching footsteps. With hearts pounding in their chests, they watched in trepidation as the guards swung open the door, revealing the imposing figure of the king standing before them. With a solemn expression, the king delivered an ultimatum. The only path to their freedom lay in bringing joy to the heart of his ailing empress. Bedridden and despondent, the queen had withdrawn from the world, her spirit shrouded in a veil of sadness that seemed impossible to lift. Determined to rise to the challenge, Blackpink agreed to meet with the queen, their hearts heavy with the weight of responsibility. As they entered the queen's chamber, they were met with a scene of quiet despair, the empress lying pale and frail upon a mound of pillows, her eyes clouded with sorrow. But as soon as the empress caught sight of Blackpink, her eyes lit up with a spark of recognition, a glimmer of hope piercing through the darkness. For in the faces of these extraordinary women, she found a reflection of the unique beauty and vitality that had long eluded her. With gentle smiles and soothing words, Blackpink approached the empress, their presence like a ray of sunlight breaking through the clouds. And as they sang a melody of hope and resilience, the empress's spirit soared, her heart swelling with joy at the sound of their harmonious voices. In that moment, as the strains of their song filled the chamber, a transformation took place within the queen, her sadness melting away like snow beneath the warm rays of spring. And as the guards reported the queen's newfound happiness to the king, Blackpink knew that their journey in Joseon had come full circle, their voices bringing light to the darkest corners of the palace and paving the way for their triumphant return to freedom. As the golden rays of dawn broke through the clouds, illuminating the palace grounds with a soft glow, the kingdom of Joseon stirred with anticipation. For on his fateful morning, the king had summoned all to the palace, his voice echoing with pride and joy as he made a proclamation that would echo through the walls of the palace. With the queen by his side, her radiant smile a testament to her newfound strength and vitality, the king introduced Blackpink to everyone as the sole reason for the empress's healing. Their presence, he declared, had brought light and joy to the palace once more, lifting the spirits of the queen and inspiring hope in the hearts of all who beheld them. The people of Joseon looked on in awe as Blackpink stood before them, their faces aglow with excitement and anticipation. And as the strains of music filled the air, they watched in rapt attention as the four women unleashed a dazzling display of song and dance unlike anything they had ever seen before. With each mesmerizing performance of hits like Pink Venom and Lovesick Girls, Blackpink captivated the hearts and minds of the gathered crowd, their voices soaring like birds in flight as they wove tales of love, loss, and triumph. Also, there isn't any background music to the song. The ladies performed their songs in a cappella while dancing with high energy. And as the final notes of their performance faded into the air.
Before reaching the end of this film, I would like to invite you to watch our special video presentation that explores why Lisa of Blackpink is considered K-pop's GOAT or greatest of all time. Please check the video link in the pinned comments below. Thank you.
A deafening roar of applause erupted from the assembled throng, cheers and cries of joy echoing throughout the palace grounds. For in that moment, Blackpink had not only entertained the people of Joseon, but had touched their hearts in a way that transcended the barriers of time and space. As Blackpink returned to the humble abode of the young boy who had provided them shelter during their time of need, they were filled with a sense of gratitude and fondness for their kind-hearted host. Yet, as they settled into their surroundings once more, a sense of curiosity nagged at the back of their minds. Realizing that in the whirlwind of events that had unfolded, they had neglected to inquire about the boy's full name, they exchanged puzzled glances, wondering what mysteries lay hidden beneath the surface. And as if sensing their unspoken question, the young boy smiled mischievously before revealing his full name with a flourish. Yang Hyun-suk, he announced proudly, his eyes twinkling with amusement as Blackpink's jaws dropped in disbelief. For in that moment, they realized that their gracious host shared the same name as the founder of YG Entertainment, the very company that had propelled them to fame and success on the world stage. As the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, Blackpink couldn't help but marvel at the serendipity of it all, the threads of fate weaving together to create a tapestry of connections that spanned across time and space. And as they laughed and exchanged stories late into the night, they knew that their journey in Joseon had brought them not only new friendships but also a deeper understanding of the intricate web of destiny that binds us all together. Blackpink then soon realized that their recent performance at the palace was like debuting as Blackpink, but not in current times but during the Joseon era of the year 1800.